What the Falcons do? Rise up. Welcome to Rise Up Reactions, the show where we talk all things Falcons, NFL, Georgia sports, and in general the sports news of the day. I'm your host, Dr. Lee Denning, lifelong sports fan, and today I'm coming back to you with the Week 3 preview here and kind of giving my picks again. So far, I am 20-11-1. I went 11-5 last week, so did pretty well. Had a couple of games that I thought might be going against the grain of America that worked out. A few that definitely didn't. But anyways, moving right into this, let's start off with our Week 3 highlights here. So we have the Pittsburgh Steelers at the Cleveland Browns for Thursday Night Football. Now, both teams are 1-1. The Pittsburgh Steelers had some significant injuries on Sunday, and they also are struggling to find the offensive identity. The Cleveland Browns gave up a heartbreaker to the now renamed New York Jets. They are no longer New Jersey as long as they continue to be relevant. So I do give this one to Cleveland just because it is at Cleveland. I do think their roster from top down is better, except for maybe quarterback. I think we're very quickly approaching the end of the Mitch Trubisky experiment, and if they get down in this game, it would not surprise me to see Kenny Pickett come in and see what he can do to try and pick him up here, just so the Steelers can maybe start building around him. Now, if Kenny Pickett's in this game, I give the edge to the Steelers, but because we're going off of the knowledge that it's going to be Mitch Trubisky for the time being, or at least at the time of making this video, I'm going to give it to the Browns. Moving right on, going into the Sunday games, we have a rather uninspiring matchup with the Houston Texans at the Chicago Bears. Neither team played particularly well last week. I am going to give it to Chicago purely because they're the home team. I don't really feel good about it because I don't think Chicago's all that good. Justin Fields definitely needs to take a step forward here. He did have a touchdown that got called back for some unknown reason on the goal line in Green Bay, so that should have been a little closer, but Aaron Rodgers still owns the Bears. But I am giving it to the Bears on this one. Moving on, we have the 0-2 Las Vegas Raiders against the 0-2 Tennessee Titans. I think the Tennessee Titans are going to go 0-3. I have said this consistently. They have lost a ton of talent. The Raiders lost on a freak fourth quarter turn of events. I don't think they're going to have as many fumbles going forward. I think they should have won that game. Hunter Renfrow just turned into sausage fingers or whatever and couldn't hold on to the ball, which was the longest punt return for a win ever in NFL history. So don't think that freak accident is going to happen again. I think the Raiders get their first win here, and I think the Titans move to 0-3. That whole division is just a dumpster fire at this point. Moving on, what I thought was going to be a more competitive game was the Kansas City Chiefs at Indianapolis Colts. I have no faith in the Colts whatsoever now. Matt Ryan has proven that the Falcons got rid of him at an appropriate time. He has, for whatever reason, hit that magic 36-year-old mark and has had the decline. Does not look like the guy that he was even a couple of years ago for the Falcons. I do look for them to lose this game and go 0-2-1. Whereas Kansas City Chiefs, I look to move on to 3-0. Tough game against the Chargers. I think if the Chargers had Keenan Allen, they actually would have won that game. But Kansas City is still Kansas City, and they're going to be better than the Colts in Indianapolis. So give me the Kansas City Chiefs all the way. Moving on, Buffalo Bills at Miami. This game has a lot of intrigue around it. Miami pulled off the upset of the year so far, or rather the comeback of the year so far, coming back from 21 points down in the fourth quarter, scoring 28 points, 28-3, oddly enough, points in the fourth quarter to beat Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. Lamar Jackson played incredibly well. The Ravens defense let him down. So I do think the Buffalo Bills have just been on a roll. They put on a clinic against the Tennessee Titans, and I think they continue to roll on. I do give the edge to the Bills, though it is in Miami. It would not surprise me if Miami walked away with the win. I still think both teams are playoff teams, but the Bills look like the better overall team from top to bottom right now, so I'm giving them the edge. Moving on, we have the Detroit Lions at the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit finally came into their own last week, so they looked a lot better at home. They put on a clinic against the Commies, and they shut them down. And the Minnesota Vikings, predictably, on Monday Night Football, showed up to basically be terrible. They were not good at all. Kirk Cousins did a Kirk Cousins Monday Night Football. Now, I think Kirk Cousins bounces back a little bit from this. Justin Jefferson bounces back a little bit from this. But I am actually in Minnesota. I was initially going to give this to the Vikings. I am now giving it to the Lions. I think the heart is there. I think they could easily be the second best team in this division, and they are on a roll. So Lions, I am giving it to you over the Vikings. Go prove me right. Coming back, we got the Baltimore Ravens against New England Patriots. Heartbreaking loss against Miami Dolphins. It was not for lack of trying on the offense's part. I think the Ravens will take care of business in New England at the Patriots. Patriots just still don't look like a great team that managed to win this past week, but it was not inspiring against Pittsburgh Steelers. So Baltimore Ravens over New England, easy pick for me. Then we come to what I would say is a surprise right now. The 0-2 Bengals, they have just not been clicking. Joe Burrow doesn't look right yet. The offensive line is still terrible. They're giving up the most sacks so far this year. I don't know what Burrow has to do, but he's got to find a way to get out of that. And you have the New York Jets relegated back to New York instead of New Jersey for their win. The Jets, I think, had a remarkable turn of events in the fourth quarter to win that game. I don't think they hold up against the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Bengals will finally get their first win of the season, go 1-2, and then the Jets will be back to 1-2. I think it'll be closer than people give it credit for, but I do have the Bengals winning here. Moving on to one of the last couple of 1 o'clock games here, we have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Washington Commies. Easy enough. Eagles are a playoff contending team. They are probably going to win that division this year. They showed up on Monday Night Football. Jalen Hurts is looking good as their pseudo number one running back. He has a lot of chemistry with A.J. Brown. I'm giving it to the Eagles. The Commies had a great first game. They did not look good in their second game. Their offense is not necessarily the big problem. It's mostly their defense, but I'm still going to give it to the Eagles. I think the Eagles are the better team here. Moving on, New Orleans Saints at Carolina. This is an easy one. New Orleans Saints had a bad showing against a very good Tampa Bay team. They still kept it close, 20-10. I'm going to give it to the Saints. The Carolina Panthers look like the worst team in the division right now, even though they have the exact same record as my Falcons. They look like the worst team. The Falcons have looked arguably better, and we're going to get to that in a second. But I'm going to give it to the Saints here. I don't think that's any surprise to anybody. Moving on, Los Angeles Chargers against the Jaguars in Los Angeles. Chargers are a very good team right now. The Jaguars surprisingly have looked good in both of their matchups so far. Granted, I don't know that either of the teams they've played are very good. This will be their first real test. Christian Kirk has emerged as a top 10 wide receiver for fantasy purposes so far, and he has a really good chemistry with Trevor Lawrence here. So I am going to give it to the Chargers. Most of America agrees with me that it's going to be the Chargers. It would not surprise me if the Jaguars, as well as they're playing right now, came out and somehow managed to surprise them. But, again, Chargers, I think, are better top down. I give it to them. Then we have another LA team, the LA Rams at the Arizona Cardinals. Cardinals do not look good right now for whatever reason. They did manage to win on some fluke plays this week, but they're not doing well overall. The Rams did bounce back. They are playing some really questionable ball in the second half of games. But I will give it to the Rams here against the Cardinals. I think the Rams are a little bit better overall. Cardinals, though, it wouldn't surprise me if they won, but I am going to give it to the Rams. Next, we have Falcons at Seahawks. I'm really excited for this game now. We have played remarkably better than I thought we could have against two teams that I think are playoff caliber teams. We have kept it within one score on both. We were winning against the Saints and gave that up. Again, snatched defeat from the jaws of victory there. And we almost broke our curse, the 28-3 curse, almost broke it against the Rams this past week. Just Jalen Ramsey too good on that last real good drive to try and take the lead there. I still think the Rams would have come down, gotten a field goal and won the game, but it would have been nice to see the Falcons take the lead there. Falcons do look better overall, even on defense, on offense. We're clicking in a way I didn't think we could, even at 0-2. I think we are the third best team in our division. I think the Seahawks have played above their station so far. They did not do well last week, and I think that's where they really probably will stay the rest of the way. Give me the Falcons at the Seahawks. We got our first win of the season, maybe one of our only ones of the season, but we get our first win at Seattle this week. Then we move on to the last of the late afternoon games. Green Bay Packers at Tampa Bay Buccaneers. 1-1 Green Bay Packers versus the 2-0 Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tampa Bay will be without Mike Evans after he got in a fight with Marshawn Lattimore when he kind of got in the face of Brady and Fournette. I think this is going to significantly impact the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I think that initially I had them winning this game. Their defense is going to be tough. I do think that Tom Grassi will be incredibly happy here. Go, Pack, go. Give me the Green Bay Packers over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this Sunday afternoon. Moving on to Sunday night, we have two more games to talk about, Sunday night and Monday night. Sunday night is the San Francisco 49ers at the Broncos. 49ers, you are incredibly lucky that you kept Jimmy G. Incredibly lucky, because it looks like with a broken ankle injury, Trey Lance is out for the season. So you're not going to get to see what you have in him. He didn't look good for his first two games, but again, Jimmy G came in and picked up like things never left. I hope they do right by him and agree to a little bit better salary for him. He did take a pay cut to stay there as their backup, and now he is going to be the starter the rest of the way. He is my favorite quarterback pickup this week for fantasy purposes. You should do everything you can in 2 quarterback leagues to get him. If you're in a 1 quarterback league, not somebody I'm necessarily going for, but he's definitely going to help this offense out. And basically, I think they're back where they were last year as a playoff team, as an NFC championship game caliber team against the Denver Broncos. Denver Broncos looked a little bit better this past week, still not clicking like I would like them to. I initially had Denver winning this game if Trey Lance was a quarterback. Give me the San Francisco 49ers. I'm sorry, Brandon Perna. I have to do it. They're just better. Jimmy G is so good looking. They're better right now. I'm sorry. You'll get there. I still think the Denver Broncos are going to have a great year, but give me the 49ers in this game. Finally, we go to Monday Night Football. I don't think this was anticipated to be as good of a matchup as it's going to be, but the Dallas Cowboys beating the Bengals against the New York Football Giants. 2-0 for the Giants. First time I can recall them being 2-0 in, at least the last 6 or 7 years. 5 points, Vids. You are going to appreciate this. I am giving this to the New York Football Giants. I think that right now they've done a lot to build in the trenches. They are a better team right now. They're finding ways to win. The Dallas Cowboys did hold off the Cincinnati Bengals. They did manage a lot of pressure on Burrow, but I don't think you're going to be able to do that against the Giants at the Giants. So give me the New York Football Giants here. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Again, I would love for you guys to be playing along with me. Tell me what you think. Who do you have different in this? There's a lot of 50-50 toss-up games this week, and I think I'm going against the grain on a lot of them. But let me know. Love to hear it down below. Consider liking the video. It would really help the channel grow. Subscribe to me. It will really help me out and help me reach a larger audience. And again, guys, I'm just really appreciating being able to do this year. It's been fun so far, and I'm looking forward to the journey. But until next time, guys, rise up.